I think many of the things you know it, everybody knows it. I don't want to spend too much time into it because we wanted to cover the fundamental aspects of it. One cell soul is called Ekendriya. Now, why I'm going to spend little more time on one sense? Because today, like among the American Jain youth, if you look at it, several people, youth, even ask that question, is Jainism a kitchen religion? They consider this one to eat, this one is not to eat, or anything like that. Everything is in Jain religion is reduced to food. That's what we hear all. Either you do the fasting or you are fasting. All right. So you just keep thinking, all right, even though in the food, oh, this one we can eat, we cannot eat these things. This one and when you try to analyze the situation, you say this thing doesn't make any sense even. In several cases, particularly in the case of one sense, because we cannot see these things. One sense soul, okay, Prithvi Kai, you can see the Prithvi means sand or land, okay, but you cannot see the soul. One or two or no. What I'm trying to just tell you that the only you can see is the body, but not Prithvi Kai, Up Kai, Tev Kai, Vav Kai, or Vanaspati Kai. That soul, that particular individual pieces you cannot see. When it is all combined, you can see the body. Even one atom, you cannot see it. Now, these things exist, this kind of the condition everywhere in the universe. So you cannot avoid committing sin, which is also true, because when you breathe, naturally you are killing significant number of souls. When you drink glass of water, you are going to kill significant number of souls. When you breathe, you drink the water. When you light the fire, okay, air, everything is a life. That is what the Jainism is. Then how do I live? Okay, important things, that's what we will talk about it also, that we have given our priority wrong, not understanding the Jainism properly. And when you understand the priority properly and then you will put your effort in a right direction. That is the key point I'm trying to believe. Okay. If you think that way, everything is a pop, then you cannot live in this world. What Jainism has given you a very practical religion that you can still function in the universe, all right, properly and progress spiritually. That is the key point I am trying to do it. But our thinking has to be changed. And that thinking is the definition of path. It is not what my action is. The path is what is my intention behind my action. It is not what I kill somebody or not. my intention was, because every time, the first thing you have to have the intention to hurt somebody. If I know I want to hurt somebody, why? Because the person is not working according to my expectation. Ultimately, it is like this. This is my expectation. Family problems, if you look into it, or state to state problem. All right. One country to another country problem. What are these? I want to rule over you. That's the point. I want you to get benefited. Or I don't want you to take advantage of me. Means it's the same thing. The other people are trying to get the benefit out of you. If your desire is limited, then people will have proper environment to become spiritual things. Okay? So I'm not going to talk, but for Shravak and Shravika, for lay people, because we are going to put more emphasis on the lay people's dharma. How Bhagwan Mahavira explained for us as a lay people, Shravak and Shravika, how do we live our life? And for that purpose, it gives you a ahimsa, very good definition for ahimsa. There are two definitions you got to keep in mind. For monks and nuns, there is a one type of definition. For lay people, there is a different definition, which is less harsh. While the first one, for monks and nuns, it is called Mahavrat, Ahimsa Mahavrat. Okay? Satya Mahavrat. Mahavrat means under all circumstances, you cannot hurt anybody. Okay? Under all circumstances, you will be truthful. Okay? Now, same thing, you don't lie. You are absolutely non-possessiveness. We are not going to talk about those things which all of you are knowing what is Mahavrat. Okay? What we are here, what is the lay people's vrat? What is the truthful? What is the stealing? To what extent it is considered for lay people anuvrat? What is the boundary of anuvrat? What is the boundary of ahimsa? Okay? And that's the one I wanted to little spend on you. And this is the reason I'm saying it, that these are important topic for all these five senses. Because for us, it is anuvrat, and anuvrat does not mean it is allowed. That's a keep certain things in the mind. You still have to be visionary, and whatever minimum you needed for your healthy survival, that much you use, but don't waste. Okay, you cannot be wasteful nature. Okay, because you need a land to do the farming. Now, when you need the land to do the farming, and without the food, without the farming, how are you going to get the food, and how are you going to survive? And if you cannot survive, then what is the use of this religion? Because as soon as you start tracking into that one, so what should we do? Whatever you needed for your healthy survival, that's what you need. Again, you have to decide how much you need it, and that's the one you use it. Same thing, water. You use it for your, again, whatever the water you need, like under today's environment, with all coronavirus and everything, you make sure things are much cleaner. Okay, you don't get any kind of the problematic things. So for Shravak, even 2 years ago or a year ago, whatever it is, okay, you may be using a lot less water, but today, for your healthy survival, you need to use a lot more water for whatever the stuff is, cleaning, and make sure there is no bacteria, nothing, no migrate that way. You put your gloves or whatever the things are needed. You need to do that one. And if you say, well, but it is going to carry PAP, no, it is not going to carry the PAP because you are not violating your vows. Okay, when you are not violating your vows, this is outside the vows. And it is not your intention to hurt anybody. Only thing you are doing it because it is the environment you in for your survival. Okay, once it is the environment for your survival, that's the one thing. So your bhav or your reflection is not to hurt. Your reflection is to progress spiritually. That's why the path is not there. In reality, the Jain religions, the path definition is when your intention is to kill, okay, or unaware state, then and then it is like that. So don't consider, sometimes people get always carried away. Oh yeah, but that means I have to use more water. And that is also pop. No, that thinking is wrong. All right. That's a similar things for ahimsa definition. Some of you may know it, some of you may not know. We already discussed it before also, that for ahimsa anuvrat definition is halta chalta prani. No, movable living beings. That's the word thing. No, they use the word only for the movable living beings. That's what we need to protect. The halta chalta nirapradhi prani ne jani joine hinsa na karve. First of all, it is a movable, so it means, one sense, it is not part of ahimsa vrat of Shravak and Shravika. One sense, because without this one sense usage, you cannot even do function in the universe. Because at every point you are going to use, whether you do it or somebody else do it for you, it is the same thing in Jainism. No, some people are saying, no, why are you doing, cutting the grass? You should hire somebody and let them do it. And I said, thank you. I always tell them, okay, whether you do it or somebody else do it for you, both way, you are getting the karma. You are getting the pap. Okay, so don't think even in that term that because you are not directly doing, that's why you are not involved. Okay, that's not the fundamentals of Jainism. Anything that what you do or somebody does it for you, okay, they are all, you are the one who is doing it. That's what it matters. So these are the kind of the things we have taken it before the topics, but that's what you have to do. Use your own wisdom and carry on. that way. Next. Now, this is another one. Vanaspatika has a plant as a body, and there is a sadharan Vanaspatika. Vanaspatika, pratyek Vanaspatika, where each soul has their own body, but that body is so small that you got to have an infinite number, or you could have an innumerable souls. For pratyek Vanaspatika, if you look at the second bullet, is an innumerable cell, while sadharan Vanaspatika is, if you look at the last bullet, infinite souls. Now, again, people come across all the time, what is the difference between innumerable and infinite? From practical point of view, there is no. From practical point of view, because you cannot count, or no, it's an infinite. Qualitative point of view, Jain literature has given you, this kind of the definition, countable, which you can count, then innumerable or non-countable, okay, and then infinite. And there is a fourth category, very rarely used, is infinite times infinite, ananta anant, okay, numerable, innumerable, infinite, and infinite time infinite. The number 2, 3, and 4 items, which is like, innumerable, infinite, and infinite time infinite, it has only qualitative difference. There is no, you cannot count it, you cannot see it, okay, they are all practical purpose same. But we got so much involved into it, oh, this is, you can eat because it is innumerable, or this is infinite, or this is infinite time infinite. And we spend so much of our time without even understanding it, what we are talking about it. All right? So I am just, but don't lose your wisdom. You practice it to the best you can, and whatever things you think, okay, this is, I can tolerate, I can live without it, that's what you do. That's it. Okay, I'm not giving you any kind of open-ended things, but don't try to waste your time analyzing everything, and you wanted to analyze it to the extent that, oh, I should not eat this, but I should eat this. And when you go and ask the reason, the kind of the answer they give you, it is also doesn't make any sense. Now, why do you use turmeric? That's no problem. But other kandamul you cannot. Why? Oh, it is like this. Where do you read this thing in Agam? Just people make up a reason. And then you go and ask that one is, no, where do you find it in Agam? Oh, we don't know. My guru said. And blaming it, no, that way, all the time. And instead of solving it, they are not doing anything because there are no answers. It is a tradition. And once it becomes an established tradition, people believe is the truth. You got to keep it by it is you are doing it due to tradition. And then they say, oh, but it's 2,000 years ago. At least they were more knowledgeable than us, so they knew. So what has to do with you? If they knew it, they got the benefit. At least you don't know the things. How are you going to get the benefit? That is not the Jain primary principles. Whatever you do, you make sure, okay, read about it, convince about it, not because, oh, I've been hearing these things and I know it is right and that's what I want to do. Now, if you choose to do it that way and stay in Mithyatva, you can continue that way too. Okay, there is no one else is going to come and tell you in fiction. All right. So these are the things you can, we'll send you the whole presentation and you can look into it also. All right. Let me get going.